What up, everybody? All right, so check this out. I know that people have heard of the different parties in different countries politically, right? But in America, the primary two parties are Democrats and Republicans. Now, they have like three other parties that are kind of like secondary parties, and then they got a bunch of other stuff. But you have the Democrats and Republicans that are the primary parties. And that was done purposely because the League of Women Voters back in 1988 were the ones who were overseeing the presidential debates. And what happened was, I think the Democrats and Republicans were like, you know what? Let's beat Duracell and Energizer. It's like that Russell Crowe thing. Anybody who's ever seen that movie, A Beautiful Mind, that one scene was beautiful. There were 5 females and it was 4 males. It was Russell Crowe and 3 of his guys. And of the 5 females, you could clearly see one of them was the baddest. And Russell Crowe had his original thought. And that thought was, wait a minute. What normally happens in this situation of 9 people, 5 females, 4 males, is all 4 males try to go for the baddest one. She takes one person. So that means 2 of the 9 people are together. That leaves 7 people with nobody. So the other 3 guys would try to go to the other 4 girls and they would shun them because they're like, I ain't second fiddle to nobody. You know how they do. And his original thought was, how about this? How about us 4 say all of us are going to forego going after the baddest one and just all say pick one of the other 4 and we all try to get at that one. If we all get one, guess what that means? Out of the 9 people, 5 females and 4 males, 8 of the 9 people will be together. 4 couples, and then the one baddest one will be left by herself. I'm like, that's a fantastic idea. And they started using that idea in the summits and the G8 and all that stuff summit. And what happened was, it allowed people to say, let's not all try to go for the best thing. Let's just all get a piece. That works if we all get a piece instead of somebody getting so much more than somebody else. Fantastic idea. Well, the Democrats and Republicans, I think, use the same thing as Duracell and Energizer because I think that's what they do. They said, instead of us trying to beat each other, how about we work together to keep each of us at the top? That's why I've never seen a Duracell and an Energizer battery commercial sequence running at the same time. Think about it. Have you? I've never seen that because I believe that they said we're going to stay at the top by us just playing off each other. Same thing with the Democrats and Republicans. They just play off of each other. And what happens? People vote in the Democrats and then vote in the Republicans and then vote in the Democrats, vote in the Republicans. And let me tell you how the sequence goes. And this is what made me start laughing at politics and say, why am I writing about politics? This is a game. Once I realized it was a game, I was like, get the freak out of here. I'll just buy a politician because bribery is legal in America. So this is what it is that they do. Follow this sequence and tell me if you haven't seen this repeatedly. When you think about it, you're going to be like, man, he's right. Watch this. You'll vote the Democrats in, right? For the first 6 months, the Democrats will do what? They'll actually work on something to give you. Now, the something will be okay. It won't be anything significant the vast majority of the time. But it'll be something that's big enough to where it's newsworthy, okay? Excuse me. Then after that 6 months, they will sit here and try to talk about the hype of the thing that they did and all the stuff that they were talking about doing before. They will use that thing that they did to get you excited about the other stuff that you think they're going to do too. Hey, we did this one thing. We're working on these other things too. We're moving, we're shaking, we're working on these other things too for the next 6 months. But by the end of the 6 months, you start realizing like, hey, y'all haven't finished that thing yet. What's going on? During that whole 6 months, they're going on interviews with these news stations talking about, yeah, we're working on this, we're working on that. You know, we just passed thing, 5 months ago, 4 months ago, whatever. You know, we just did that, so we're working on this stuff. So they're buying time. That first year passes. Now it's year 2, January. Guess with what it is they hit you. Man, I was hoping we got this stuff we were going to do done before, because now it's an election year, so we can't really do anything. I mean, we're gonna put it on the shelf for it, but we're gonna get back to it. Both of us in November. Then you get pissed because you're like, yo, you said you were gonna do A, B, and C, and you didn't do it. And then you vote in the Republicans. Then the Republicans come in, and the biggest thing that they pass every single time is more tax cuts for rich people. Let's just keep it real. That's what they do. Both parties is full of crap. I'm just telling you what each party does. And then they'll pass, they'll say Democrats bad, Democrats bad, Democrats bad, put us in. Then you put the Democrats in, and then the Republicans say, all right, now that we're in, we're going to give all the money to the rich. And then the Democratic Party does what? They vote with them. They come out in public and talk about how terrible the Republicans are, but then they go behind the scenes and they vote with them on all of those things that give rich people the money. Then people get pissed off because they're like, the Republicans said they were going to do this, and it turns out they didn't do that. We're going to vote the Democrats back in. And then what happens? Same cycle. Democrats get in. First 6 months, they give you one little thing. Then they use that one little thing to get you to thinking for the next 6 months that they're going to what? Pass something else. Then it hits the beginning of the next year. Oh, we can't do nothing. It's an election year. Because it's an election year every 2 years. The House has to be replaced every 2 years, the parties in the House. And the Senate, it's the same thing. Has to be replaced every 2 years. But they what they do is they spread them out like in 6 years, so it's staggered. It's 6 years, so year 1 to 6, and then the other people are year 3 to 8, and then the other people are year 5 to 9. That's how they stagger it. And then the next one come in, 7 to 11, and it just keeps going like that. It's every 2 years. So it's 33% of the Senate gets switched out every 2 years. But in the House, people are up for voting every 2 years too. Like for re-election rather, every 2 years. And so that's what they do. That's what the Democrats and Republicans do. And that's why I laugh at politics now. Because once I realized, wait, this is all a joke. They work for the same people. The Democrats and the Republicans are like the Harlem Globetrotters and the Washington Generals. The Washington Generals' job is to make the Harlem Globetrotters look good and make it seem like it's a fight. It's not a fight. Nancy Pelosi has the same donors as Mitch McConnell. You know what I'm saying? It's frustrating because people don't understand this. And if people understood this, they would stop voting for either of them. But they don't. And because they don't, they keep listening to the craziness that these news stations are saying. And guess from where the news stations get their money? From the politicians passing policies that allow these corporations to steal more money from you. This is why the prices of everything is up. This is why the prices are up, rather. This is why inflation is the way it is. It's because these politicians keep allowing corporations to steal money from you and not pay taxes. So you got to pay more taxes and it's still not enough. So what happens? So the government has to print more money and it lowers the value of the money, which means your dollar goes shorter. it's just a cycle. It's so much more to this that I can say, but this is why I just laugh at this crap now. Literally, I have a website that's up right now. Talks about politics. I have a politics channel, all that stuff. I stopped because I was like, no, this is a joke. So now this is what happens. People are out there protesting. 10,000 people protesting, right? And I'm all with the protesters. And let's say I walk by like, and I'm all with you. And I walk into a politician's office and donate to a super PAC or something and let them know what it is that I want. And then come back out, because I'm with you. I want y'all protesting. But I realize that don't get, that's not what gets things passed. 70% of the things that get passed are by donors who donate directly to the politicians or super PACs or whatever. These protests have a zero, pretty much negligible effect on policy. It just does. I think a Yale study just came out about that. So if that's the case, why the freak am I going to sit up here and do this stuff? Protest and do all that? Why? You can just go buy a politician in America. Literally. You can just go buy a politician. And they're cheap as all get out. You spend $10,000 to $20,000, you get a politician to pass a policy that saves you $20 million. Talk about return on a freaking investment.